Hi everyone, this is Vernon Kay and you're listening to Angie B on Marlow FM.
Okay, so Angie B down at the Oakwood Room at Wycombe Swan, about to have a lovely chat with a very well-known name from our TV and radio. And he's going to be playing in this year's pantomime the role of Dandini, and that is the delightful Vernon Kay. Good afternoon, Vernon.
Hi.
How are you getting on this afternoon with all of this sort of chats and interviews with people ahead of the pantomime season?
Yeah, it's interesting doing, I guess you'd call it pre-show promo. You kind of get a sense of how people are feeling towards the panto, which is great. So far, really positive. Everyone's very excited. But also, it's just nice to meet people, I'll be honest with you. I don't get out the house that much, so it's just nice to sit opposite faces and just chat and try and get on.
Brilliant. I wanted to sort of ask and take the opportunity while I've got a chance to sit down and ask you, because this is a really lovely moment. Somebody who grew up originally in the north, like myself, did you find when you were growing up that you used to listen to a lot of radio as a kid? And what radio DJs were you particularly listening to when you were younger?
Yeah, growing up, my dad's a lorry driver.
Yeah.
So we used to travel up and down the length and breadth of this great nation on a regular basis, mainly during the school 6 weeks holidays. And he'd always have the radio on, but also he was in a band. So when they were learning new songs, like cover versions, he'd put the song on, my dad would put the song on in the truck and then play it over and over and over and over again. So I know, like, my back catalogue of songs from start to finish, lyric-wise, is pretty impressive, only because of spending that much time with my dad in his truck. But they're the kind of songs that, when you sing them on karaoke, no one knows what they are. Like, old Cliff Richard B-sides, what the hell is this? I'm like, I don't know, but I know it from start to finish.
Because we tend to do that, don't we? A lot of us who are into music, it's usually what our heritage, what we grew up with, what was played to us continuously, whether it be our family, our parents, or what was in the charts at the time. So were you very much into your 80s music? Did you like your 80s, 90s music?
Yeah, I liked... to be honest with you, and I'm being brutally honest with you, I like whatever the girls liked at school. Because I, at a very early age, you realise that if you want to be in the gang, and all boys wanted to be in the gang, then you've got to kind of, back in the day, I was in high school from 85 to 90. So it was kind of coming out of the back of the kind of new wave, romantics era, into going to a school in Bolton, near Manchester. It was then into kind of New Order, the Smiths, Stone Roses, and then left in 90. So 90 to 92 was sixth form, and that was kind of grunge, rock and roll, and then dance music. So dance music, like the 88 to 92 was like huge, big boom. So that was kind of my youth, and I kind of realised that if you were into Bros, if the girls were into Bros, you get into Bros, because then you can talk about Bros with the girls.
Yeah, you got a common thing.
So you got a common thing, and I did GCSE Spanish, and I was the only lad.
Oh.
So I did it with lots of senoritas, and I was the only hombre, I guess you'd say. So I learned a lot about music. I learned a lot about femininity and what it is to be a teenage girl, all in the space of 2 years.
Oh, well done.
So it was a bit mad. So having two girls, conversations about turning into a woman were never difficult for me, because as a kid, that's all I grew up with.
Yeah, so it was natural. Felt at home.
I'm like, whatever. Yeah. So, I remember Lisa Hughes had this problem. It's like so funny.
So, following on from the question about radio and what you listen to, how did it feel then later on, fast forward in your career, that you find yourself sort of presenting on radio, i.e. you were Radio X, weren't you, for a while, but then later you're actually covering Radio 2 Steve Wright's slot. I mean, did you have kind of one of those wake-up moments that we all do as presenters and think, oh, how did that happen?
Yeah, my big wake-up moment was the first ever Saturday evening TV show that I did for Channel 4 called Boys and Girls, which was just like live car crash. It was insane, the maddest show I've ever done. But the exec producer was Chris Evans.
Yeah.
And when I was cleaning phone boxes and I was a mobile caretaker, Chris was doing BBC Radio 1 breakfast show, and I was literally his biggest fan. And I'd come home and I'd tell my mum what Chris was talking about, because Chris had this kind of screw it, let's do it attitude. In that if he had an idea which he thought was good, and 99.9% of the times Chris's ideas were amazing, they'd just do it, regardless of the amount of money that it would cost. He was just like, right, let's do it, it's going to be really fun, the listeners are going to love it, and it'll be great. And he was like, yeah, okay. For example, live on one show, they had John Cleese on TFI Friday, and they said, John Cleese is coming in on Friday, and we need to get a script to him. He wants to see a script before we do it, but he's in New York. Chris went, well, let's fly to New York and give him the script. So they got on Concorde, flew to New York, gave him the script, got back on the return flight of Concorde and did it all in a day.
Wow.
Which was mad. And you kind of think, well, he took the whole team, and you know what Chris was like in the early 90s, like on the lash with the champagne, living it up. And it's just that kind of...
But Steve's in the moment.
Sensibility,
just do it.
It's very difficult to do that these days, obviously, with budgets and stuff like that. Yeah. But I think his fisheye lens on life is something that I don't think will be repeated.
It's interesting you saying that, and I'll come on to that in a minute. But
working with him was amazing.
He is. He's a great guy, isn't he? He really
and he's local.
And he's local, and he does a lot for our
community. He loves the Rebellion Brewery.
He does. And he loves Marlow FM. He does like Marlow FM.
There you go. Who doesn't?
I know. But talking about radio, but now I want to talk to and just ask you, growing up as a kid as well, we loved the TV game shows, didn't we? And some of the best known name hosts were Max Bygraves, Bob Monkhouse, and also Les Dennis. But the show that you inherited to host, which was Family Fortunes, I mean, how many times, and is there anything particular, and I'm talking about the blunders as well from the wrong answers, I mean, how many times many of us hook in to watch you and your reaction to some of the contestant answers? I mean, it just must have been a golden part of your career.
Yeah, it was. I think I did 15 series of Fortunes, and God, going back to Chris, and this is the influence that he's had on my career. Like we because we did Boys and Girls, and it was my first step into prime time, he wanted me to learn how to, what he called, command the floor. So, and there's only one man who ever did that in game show world, and that was Bruce Forsyth. So Chris and I, I'll be honest with you, we had a drink or two, and we would sit and watch. I think we watched every episode of Bruce Forsyth's Generation Game. Yeah. And we watched every episode of Play Your Cards Right with Bruce, and the way that he commanded the floor. Yeah. And with a game show, if you know the rules inside out, back to front, upside down, you could do anything on a game show. As long as you stick to that main vein of a thread of, right, this is I know the rules, so I can do whatever I want because I know when to go back and play the game. I know that I can take it so far over there, people are going to think I've forgotten why we're here, but you know the rules and you know the gameplay. Yeah. And, I'm forever grateful to Chris for teaching me that, because that was a moment where I thought, oh my God, it's actually quite easy. Because if you do the initial work and learn the rules, everything else is a walk in the park.
And also, in addition to that, it's not only being able to do that, but as many people say, including my own mum, she said it's the person and the character and the delivery and the look and the smile to get away with it as well. And you do that. She absolutely adores you for that. She said, Vernon, he's the best. He's the best.
That's very kind. Send him my love.
I've got that on film. Did you hear that, Mum?
But but it's true though, like the reason why we had so much fun on Fortunes is because we spent 6 months in a rehearsal room just playing it. Just playing the game. And, they threw every different ending, every alternative ending, every possible wrong answer, every possible right answer. Everything came our way. So when we went into studio, it just felt like, it felt like another part of the family, really. It's like, I know this game show. Well, it was so easy.
It's you go to, if you need a pick-me-up instantly in the morning, you go to the funnies on YouTube and pull it up, and it just makes your day, because you just see them all compilation, and I think it's absolute hoot. But
we surveyed 100 people, and we asked them, what do you do if you run out of clean underwear?
Name a bird with a long neck.
But this is a good one, because this is one of my favourite answers. Chris Morsey's dad. What would you do if you ran out of clean underwear?
Okay.
What would you say?
Wash it.
Yeah, wash it. Turn them inside out was the top answer.
All right.
Right. And Chris Morsey's dad said that, he's from Leeds. Yeah. He was a lorry driver for the post office. Well, if I run out of clean underwear, I wear my wife's. Like, all right, fair enough.
Fair enough. Whatever floats your boat.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good answer. Yeah. Practical as Northerners. Practical.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So moving on from that, and we're going to talk about the Panto very soon, because that's probably what you want to get onto.
No,
I can appreciate that you're sitting here thinking, is this lady actually going to talk to me about the pantomime that
I don't mind. You talk about whatever you want.
And this is a condensed version of a list of questions. It was really hard to decide what to take out, because
right.
you know, you don't every day get a chance to sit down and chat to you, Vernon. So excuse the prolonged list of questions.
No problem.
So I'm a Celebrity 2020. How most people think, how on earth, it's one thing to watch on television, but to actually be in a container with all of those nasty insects, bugs, and God knows what being thrown on you, and knowing that you've got lots of people watching you, quite a memorable experience. But how did you get through it?
Yeah, and that's the real motivator. That's the driver when you're in there. Is you can't stop thinking that people are watching. Like, because you're in such a confined space, but there's like dozens of cameras. There's cameras and microphones everywhere, apart from the bathroom. But there was a microphone in the bathroom, but there's no cameras. Yeah. So the thing is, when I went in there and I knew exactly what I was going to come up against. I'd spoken to Dec, because I asked we're I won't say we're great mates, but we're good friends. Yeah. And I phoned him up. I said, "What do you reckon?" And he said, "All you've got to do is just be yourself." He said, "Don't have a plan. People who have a plan get found out. They get voted out really early." He said, "Just go in there, be yourself." And he's like, you know, Ant and I will be there. If there's anything going on, we'll kind of give you a nudge if we see you, if you're doing a trial or a challenge or whatever. And you'll be all right. I'm like, do you reckon? They're like, just do it. Yeah. Just do it. And it's the advice that I give to people now is just be yourself and do it and enjoy it. Don't go in there with a plan. Yeah. Don't go in there with, I'm going to do this and I'm going to try and be really clever. Yeah. Because it's been on forever.
And you see through it, don't they? People see through it. Yeah,
they know what's going on. Yeah. You know, and I remember the producers telling me, we get such stuff saying that they want to do this and they want to do that. It's like, just let the programme be the programme and you just be you and hope that there's a nice bit of synchronicity between you and the show.
Yeah, and there wasn't there?
Yeah, I loved it. I absolutely loved it.
Yeah,
I loved it.
Yeah, oh, well, congratulations, because I thought you were an
it was a proper laugh.
Star. Oh, it looks it, I can imagine.
But the thing is, I'm kind of lucky, because they could have very, very easily edited in a piece of me just sleeping. Yeah. Because
so like you're not done anything.
Yeah, exactly. I like my food, and I was like, guys, I apologise. I am shattered. Yeah. I'm not. Yeah. I lost 2.5 stone.
Well, they say, don't they? That's one of the hardest things is the food intake.
Yeah, but I built myself up prior to going in. So I found out in April, and then from April onwards, I think beginning of June, I found out that AJ was doing it from Strictly, and he is ripped. He has got a great body on him. Yeah. So I'm like, well, at the tender age of almost 50, I need to look there or thereabouts, like this ballroom dancer who's in his early 20s.
Great incentive then.
Great incentive. So I built myself up. I fit as a fiddle when I went in there. Yeah. But because I'd been consuming 6.5, nearly 7,000 calories to build myself up, as soon as I went to 500, it just fell off me. Yeah, yeah. And I'm the number one contestant for most weight loss in the whole of I'm a Celebrity.
Is there a crown for that?
No, there should be
shouldn't they?
Free meal. I had 6 cheeseburgers on the way home.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I could only manage 4.
It's like going out of fashion.
Yeah, I was like, just feed me.
Well, it's really lovely to be able to have had the chance to just ask you a few of those questions. There's so much more I could ask you, but let's get on to the pantomime.
I'll come in and we'll talk about that.
It'd be great to have you. And I'll challenge you, as I said, to come in and we'll have a talk about that and play some music and, have a bit of a laugh and everything else. You never know, Mike Reid might join us.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, put the kettle on and come and sit with us. Pantomime. Hi, Wycombe. What made you decide to do pantomime?
The kids, really. Yeah, because we're a big Panto family. Every year we're either here or Aylesbury. Yeah. We just keep it local. You know, you've got to support your own local theatre. Yeah. And it's kind of become part of our Christmas routine. Yeah. Yeah. So when I was asked to do it, they said the kids overheard me and Tess talking about it. Yeah. And the girls were like, "Dad, are you talking about Panto?" I'm like, yeah. Oh, you've got to do it. Please do it. Please do it. Oh. And the girls have kind of booked a few dates where they're bringing school friends, and I think Phoebe, the eldest, I think she wants to bring her whole drama course.
I'm sure she does. Get the coach party.
Yeah. So got all that. So it was the girls really that wanted me to do it. And it's part of Christmas tradition.
Well, it is. It's a lovely build-up, isn't it? And that sometimes is a lot to do with Christmas, is the build-up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not necessarily Christmas Day, but it's all the lovely celebrations in the run-up to it. And pantomime is a tradition. Yeah. You know what you're getting, don't you? You know the format to a certain degree. You've got a lot of freedom with how you get involved with the production and things that are going on.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. I've had a great time so far. You know, we're as a collective, we're all pretty hands-on with the script. Yeah. We've got a great cast of characters. The ensemble is amazing.
Ensemble.
Yeah, ensemble. We've got people who've been in the West End and done all kinds of big shows. Yeah. And I think it's their wealth of experience that will carry me along for the first couple of performances, and just or even like in rehearsals, watching how they do things and stuff. Yeah, just
until you settle down into it and get into a routine, which is a little bit. Exactly. It's going to be great, and it's great to have, like you say, somebody local coming on and being part of the theatre and the local surrounding community.
I'll be on by 10.
I was going to say there's an upside, isn't there?
Yeah.
Just nip down the road and job done.
Exactly.
And why and who decided for you to use a snake in the marketing?
Yeah, funny, right?
Because I can't stand snakes.
Oh, really?
I
think that was an I'm a celebrity related prop. But I never got the snakes. Jordan North got the snakes because he hates snakes. Yeah. So I think we've done a series of photographs which coincide with different events in the run up to Christmas. So we've done Halloween, we've done the launch of I'm a Celebrity, we've done an end of Strictly Final, bonfire night, we've done that, fireworks. So quite a few. Yeah, really.
It's a great feature, but I don't think I'd be able to do it. So well done to you to stand there with a great piece.
Yeah,
really?
Snakes are all right. Snakes are all right. It's cockroaches that are the worst.
I saw that. I was watching the rerun of that in I'm a Celeb, and I was thinking, how are you doing that? And then when the spiders start to attach themselves to your cheeks,
those were.
Like,
and
the maggots.
Oh, it was horrible. Like they poured compost on me. I'm like, that's just a bit wet. And then the
rotting food.
The cockroaches.
And then
And then to finish off, the scorpions. And the problem with the scorpions was one went down my t-shirt and it nipped me and it held on. Yeah. I'm like, that's biting me. And then one bit my earlobe, so it's clinging onto my earlobe. And at the back of my mind, I'll never forget Fatima Whitbread, the javelin thrower, having one cockroach go in her ear.
Yeah.
And she's got it embalmed in a Perspex cube now, that cockroach. It's a bit weird.
I know, you don't really want a memory of it.
It's the smell. Yeah. It's the cockroaches do this little noise, and it's like, they smell like death. They smell like death. Gosh. Whatever you think death smells like, that's a cockroach.
Oh dear. Well, as I said, I commend you for being able to go through that and have lots of people watch you do that. I'm aware of how much time and how many other people you've got to chat to, so it would be really lovely if we could have you nearer to Panto. So you
of course I'll come
and visit us at Marlow FM. We'll put the kettle on, have some cake, and talk about music, have a bit of a...
I have my PCR test done at the Marlow Bottom at the dentist there.
It would be really, really good to have you, and obviously we love to support our theatre, the Wycombe Swan, and all of the artists that come through.
Oh, brilliant.
So we are there, the door is open, it would be lovely to have you on.
I will do that.